Hey, what's up, naughty community? Welcome back to my naughty hobby with Amber for another easy to follow crochet tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the crystal wave stitch combo. This was a request by my very good friend Molly. Thanks for always commenting on my posts and I don't know, just being a great hooker buddy. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a crocheter for about 14 years now. I love teaching others and most importantly, connecting with you, hearing about what you're working on and what you would like to learn. So if you want to follow along with me today, I'm going to be using a 5mm hook and some worsted weight yarn. You can use whatever size hook and yarn that you have available to you. But here's the pattern. This is such a wonderful texture and it works up really quick. Works up fast, perfect for beginners, and I hope that you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and get started. What's up, Molly? See that you just jumped on. Hi, Louisa. All right, so we're going to start by chaining an even number of stitches. I'm going to start with 20. Hi, Rana. I'm doing pretty good. The weather's changed. If you read my post from yesterday, the weather's changed and I'm loving being able to spend more time outside. So like I said, we're going to chain 20. $19 and $20. I need to adjust my chair a little bit. It's been a few days since I've been in the old tutorial chair. I want to make sure I have nice clear view for you guys. It's comfortable for me and I'm not going off screen. I'm trying to be more aware of that. Hey Rachel. Hi Aurora. Happy to see you guys popping on and saying hello. And I'm not sure if you read the entire caption of this video, but I had a question of the day, and if you answer while I'm live, you will automatically be entered to win a mystery prize. So make sure you answer that question for your chance. Okay, so after we have done our chain, I have a chain of 20 here. In our fourth chain from the hook, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to place 2 double crochet. And those first 3 chains that we skipped over are going to count as our first stitch. So technically we have 3 stitches, 3 double crochets in that first stitch. Now we're going to skip over the next 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and into the next one, we're going to place a single crochet, chain 3, and then in that same stitch, we're going to do 3 double crochets. And if any of the stitches that I'm using in this video today are not familiar to you, you can always back out of here and check out the other videos on my page. I have lots of tutorials for you guys, so all the stitches we use today will have a tutorial with it if you're not familiar. So there's my 3 double crochet. We're going to skip over the next 3 and into the 4th, another single crochet. You know, the foundation row is always the most difficult to get comfortable with. So it looks a little floppity, but you can kind of see those waves starting to form. Chain 3, and then 3 double crochet into that same stitch. Skip over the next 3, work a single crochet, chain 3, and then 3 double crochet into that same stitch. Hi, Taffy. And in our last stitch, I can feel that we're here at the end. You're going to skip over 3, and then into your last stitch, you're just going to work a single crochet. Your first row should look like this. You're going to chain up 3, excuse me, chain up 3. So typically for patterns, I don't use a chain 3 for the first stitch, but for this stitch combo, your chain 3 will always be your first stitch of that row. And now we're just going to repeat that pattern. So we have our chain 3 into our first stitch. We're going to do 2 double crochet, to count for a total of 3 double crochet in that first stitch. Now here, this might actually be a new stitch, but not a new concept. We're going to find that 3rd double crochet, and we're going to work a front post single crochet into that. So you've probably seen or watched tutorials where I've done a front post double crochet. This is going to be worked the exact same way. Instead of using a double crochet though, you'll just use a single crochet. So I insert my hook from the right to the left and drop a loop, just like you would if you were working through a regular stitch. Yarn over and then pull through both loops on your hook. Chain up 3. And then using the chain 3 space that we created in our previous row, we're going to place 3 double crochets over that chain 3. Again, we're going to skip over these stitches here, but around that 3rd double crochet, we're going to work a front post single crochet. Chain 3. Three double crochet around your chain in the back there. Skip over all of this business and work a excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Front post single crochet, chain 3, And then around that chain, 3 double crochet. Okay, on the ends here, typically you're going to be skipping over all of this and we would do the front post. I don't really like the edge that that creates. The tutorial that I followed had you go just around that chain. I like to go through the chain because I feel like it's going to give me a straighter edge to work, to, you know, eventually work a border into this piece when I'm finished. I like the look of, you know, going through that chain space instead of going through or around that entire chain. So I hope that makes sense to you. Here's our piece so far. Again, we're going to chain 3, and now it just becomes a repeat pattern. So your foundation is really the only one where you're not doing the front post single crochets. Always starting with 3, putting 2 double crochets into the first, front post around that 3rd double crochet, then again at the end, I'm going to skip those stitches there and then work into that 3rd one on your edge. Hi Kay, hi Linda. So I thought I would give you guys a little sneak peek of the, you know, in the post I said I'm doing a giveaway. Let me know if you read the question, but I got a bunch of goodies and I want to show you guys real quick. I got these fun little bags. You can hold hooks or stitch markers or pens, pencils, and I know that I'm going to do a skein of yarn with it. I just haven't decided which one I'm going to do for the giveaway. But you guys, I love enamel pins, and maybe you saw on my story, if you follow my story at all. I got a collection of these summertime, like, inspired enamel pins. I'll just go through a few of them to show you what I've got and, you know, what to kind of expect if you participate in my giveaways, which I do because I love you guys. And I appreciate those who take time to, you know, share my work or let people know that I'm the friendliest hooker that they'll ever meet. Maybe the most talented hooker. Yeah, I think it's a great way to connect. Outside of this post, if you want to be eligible for future contests and giveaway, please make sure that you're signed up for my newsletter, which I will drop a link so you can sign up if you're not already, because that's where a lot of the giveaways will stem from, is my newsletter. All right, but I'll continue to work this pattern with you, but it's a repeat, you guys. So aside from the foundation row, every single row is going to be the same. I don't want to sound repetitive, but so I'll just work a few more of these out kind of slow, and then I'll get to chatting with you guys a bit more. So again, always start with a chain 3 and then 2 double crochet in the first, front post single crochet, chain 3. And this pattern actually reminds me a lot of corner to corner, at least the way that it looks. Again, we've came to our last stitch and into the third chain here. I'm going to place a single crochet. Hey Taffy, I'm actually going to be posting this video afterwards, after it's all finished up, which will be here shortly. I'm just going to finish off for it to match like this, but this is the crystal wave stitch for those of you who are jumping on a little bit late. From the side, you know, you can really see the waves here. This is a fun texture and a really easy pattern to remember. That's why I had said in the title that I feel this would be a great stitch combo if you're fairly new to crochet or feeling intimidated. Which, if that's you, if you're feeling intimidated, I really encourage you to follow me. If you are not already, I love to make things that look super complex, but explain them in an easy to follow way that you're not left feeling real frustrated after you watch. Sometimes I get people who jump in a little bit late into a tutorial like now, where I will definitely be sped up, but if you miss the beginning portion, I always go a lot slower. I know from watching tutorials myself how irritated I can get if something gets too repetitive or they're going too slow after I've gotten a stitch down. And so I just kind of play around. However, if you ever feel like, whoa, she's going so fast in the midst of, you know, one of the tutorials, I'm always happy to slow down and show you exactly what I'm doing. Terry says, I hope to learn how to crochet kitchen dish rags. You know, Terry, excuse me, you could totally turn this pattern into a dish rag. you know, just use a cotton fiber instead of this acrylic, just because acrylic doesn't absorb water very well. And I think if you apply too much heat to acrylic, it might melt. Maybe. I don't know. Is that accurate? I feel like it would. Or just, I don't know. I don't feel acrylic absorbs. And since the topic today is our favorite fibers, I'd love to hear what your favorite fiber is to work with. Mine is, I also really enjoy working with acrylic yarns, but cotton is my all-time favorite. Probably actually cotton blends. A nice cotton acrylic blend makes for a super cozy blanket. I definitely use acrylic the most. And I think that's mainly because it's the easiest for me to get. Pretty much always Walmart will have it, or, you know, ordering it online even. Lots of different colors to choose from, and it's just easy. And cost-wise too. There's some really great, super expensive, like wools out there. Merino wool and alpaca and things like that. Those can be a dream to work with, but they're expensive, and rightfully so, being, you know, spun the way they are. I don't understand the process. I would love to learn someday. Maybe when I get through all of my crochet projects. My husband's watching. He's probably like, oh God, please don't let her get into wanting to learn how to spin wool and all of that. We don't have the room. Or he would be kind of like on, I just thought of Joe Exotic. I'm never going to recover financially from this. Or what did he say? I'll never financially recover from this if I got into it. I think I might have some alpaca. I feel like, what kind? Hold on. Since we're on the topic of, I wanted to make a shawl with these 3 colors that I'm going to show you guys. And this is alpaca. If you're not familiar with like specialty yarns, it's a lot more fibrous. You can see like there's natural, this isn't from my cats, these little wisps of hair that you see. This, I think, is the biggest downfall of using like all natural fibers like this alpaca, is having these hairs come through. It drives me absolutely crazy, which is probably why I haven't started anything. Here's the 3 colors in case you were curious. I think it's going to be fabulously warm and soft once it's worked up and maybe washed once. But as of right now, these little, can you see them? The little whiskers. My yarn has whiskers. Put that back real quick. But if you guys have seen a lot of my tutorials, you've probably seen me work with, this is my favorite fiber to use right now, giving them a huge shout out. Should be getting paid for that. on this Lion brand Kobo. It is a cotton acrylic blend, and if you can find the right tension to work with this fiber, it's so nice. The biggest complaint that I hear from people is saying how, if you look a little bit closer, it's easy for these strands to get twisted, and so people get irritated with their work splitting. I found that if you use a looser tension, an even consistent tension, that shouldn't be a problem. So there's a little fiber talk for you. I prefer this fiber talk over the fiber talk I've been having with my husband, because we're doing keto, you guys, trying to shake the quarantine 20s, 15 pounds, whatever it's been. Anyways, we're doing keto and eating a lot of cheese. So I'd rather talk about these types of fibers than those types of fibers, if you get what I'm saying. Ooh, Jeanette says, the whiskers drive me crazy too. I'm looking forward to using a bamboo fiber. Bamboo is a dream. I think Joanne sells patterns. I think it's bamboo silk, and it is super soft and super shiny. I probably have some. I'll look here in a second after I get done with this row. 1, 2, 3. Well, for all of those who end up popping on late, no worries, because it's not like I gave you guys a lot of notice, right? I think I posted it like 8 o'clock this morning. And then I'm like expecting, well, I wasn't expecting everybody to be on, but I'm looking for that bamboo silk real quick. Because like I said, this stuff is dreamy to work with. Okay, so that is probably cat hair right there. Maybe that too. Oh, this must have... So my blue yarn is right above where one of my cat's beds is. And if it rolls off or if they pat it off, I get little... Man, my camera's just really doing a fantastic job. But the sheen, and I wish you could feel what I'm feeling right now. Bamboo silk is some of the softest fibers in your hands, and so I'm super excited for you to get that as well. I don't have the label on here, but I know that this is Patton's bamboo silk, which you can find at the last place I remember buying it was Joann's. But as we don't have a Joann's here, and we're in the middle of a quarantine and all of that kind of business, it's been a while since I've been to a Joann's, so don't hold me to that. I almost skipped over those double crochets. Taffy, what time is it where you're at? Taffy's saying she's usually not up this early. Yes, come in. What's up, buddy?
What if I play PS4?
I don't want you playing the PS4 right now.
I'll be quiet.
No, buddy. No.
Okay.
All right. I'm almost done. Okay. All right. Friends, my kids basically want to live on video games. And that's not an exaggeration. one bit. I know I'm not the only one struggling with it, but if I have to hear one more fight in regards to a video game, I might lose my shit. I'm not kidding. Oh, or crying. Yes, I hate the fighting that comes with the video games, but more than that, I despise when my kids can't figure out a certain part in the game and they cry about that. They don't want to, take the time to figure out the puzzle or whatever it is. And so they cry to me. They cry to me about this video game, and you guys, I'm a hooker. I'm not a gamer, right? Like, I would much rather be sitting with yarn and a hook in my hand than be trying to figure out video games. They're just not my thing. They're not my jam. So when my kids come crying to me after I'm already, probably mildly irritated that they're on electronics, whew. It really drives me crazy too when the weather's nice and they still want to stay inside and do nothing. Like, oh no. Today we are going to be filling our garden boxes. We just built some garden boxes, and I'll snap a picture of them and share it on my story if you're interested in seeing those when I'm done here. Oh, Taffy, me too. Like when they get all angry about and worked up. In some of these games where you pay a ton of, well, I feel like any amount of money on a game, like I'm talking about like the money that goes with them. My kids' thing is Roblox. They want Roblox money, or my kids don't play Fortnite, but I know that you can't, like, through the game. Oops. I forgot my double crochets there. Like Fortnite, you can't earn the money just simply by playing, even if it's slow. Even if they're only earning, $5 or, five of their little dollars for each game that they play. And you know what I'm saying? That they can't even earn them, that they have to be bought, and it's going to be money spent on something they're never actually going to physically touch. And I think my kids are finally to the point where they know not to ask mom. My husband's about that video gaming business. I, on the other hand, am not. Like, I will never give you allowance money to spend on Robux. Go siphon it from your dad. Janet, I think that's a great idea. Each time they think they need to start fighting, have them do something physical. Just in general. How fun is this lime green? I've been all about the summer colors lately. I feel like if I use brighter colors, it'll make the weather get nicer faster. And if you're just jumping on, You're seeing that I'm going like a million miles an hour with the tutorial. This will be posted to my page after, after I'm done chatting with you guys, and you can watch the much slowed down version of the tutorial instead of this super fast version. Because now I'm just hanging around because I like you guys. I feel like this would look cool. You could do a pineapple applique following this same kind of a pattern, only obviously this would be in yellow and then maybe move to green, and do the spikes. I don't know. I've been feeling very inspired and creative lately. Seeing new designs and everything. I really want to do some summer wear, which is another reason why I'm doing keto. Like, if I have any hopes to maybe model some of this and not feel completely terrible about myself, I better drink more water, get more active, because I've been pretty lazy. Pretty dang lazy, you guys. Again, though, I know I'm not the only one. It's not like the earth is really for me, like being outside working out anyways. Look at me trying to make excuses. I'm just thinking about the killer hornets, dude. Whoever keeps asking if things could even get worse needs to just maybe like shut their mouth at this point. I feel like my life lesson is don't ask what else. You best be able to roll with it. I feel like I can really relate to Jumanji on a whole nother level. On a real note. Oh, at least it's giggling I hear coming from upstairs. No loud crashes. So I'm pretty sure that's even a little longer than my initial piece here. Right. So I love the classic Jumanji. Speaking of Jumanji, I love the classic one. But the new one with Dwayne Johnson is pretty hilarious. I like them both, the first and the second one. All right, I'm probably going to be wrapping this up. Let me see here. It's about 10:40. Okay. So if you're curious on how to finish this, on my example piece, the edges are left raw. Sorry, let me get this more into view. I left the edges raw for now, but I will show you how I got, what looks like a pretty straight row. I think that this was my last row that I did, so we will work that out as an idea, but this won't be a complete, I guess, tutorial on the border. I always go with usually starting with just a row or just a single crochet evenly around, but with this pattern you see that there's these divots. So I'm going to show you real quick how I squared it up the best that I could, and I actually didn't do any chains here. So when you're ready to finish, in your first stitch, I worked a standing double crochet, which is just a single crochet with a chain on the top. Then I did a half double crochet in the next stitch, single in the next, single in the next, and then start that same pattern over again, starting with this stitch here. So a double crochet, a half double crochet, single, single, double, half double, single, single. And then in the last one here, still do double, and then because we have the edge how we did the, sorry, lost my train of thought, the standing double crochet, half double crochet in the last one, we want that to match on the other side. So I'm going to do a half double and then a double. Sorry for pulling it away like that. And that is how like I said, if you like the look of chaining for that spot instead, you could always do the chain 3 and then your first stitch, or just the chain 3 for that stitch. But to try to get the height requirements, that's how I got it. And then of course, if you aren't familiar or maybe would like to see how I weave my ends in, I'll do that with you guys real quick before jumping off. I always like to, even though I despise weaving ends in, I always like to remind my followers that this is a skip or a step that I feel you should always take your time on, because it really does say something in my personal opinion about your work in general. If you take the time to secure your ends in and do it properly, they'll never come out. And for me, for the items that I sell, it's really embarrassing, and it's definitely happened to me before, where ends start coming out, or maybe an applique wasn't secured as well as it could have been, and I have no doubt in my mind that that was from not taking the time to weave my ends in and do a really stellar job. So the method that I've always gone to, I'll show you guys a little bit up close, is the biggest thing being that you want to weave your yarn back into itself, at least go over it 3 times. So this is my first pass. Whoops. I don't pull it real tight because I don't want it to warp wherever the end is. So there's one. And now you want to weave your needle like in and out through those stitches to ensure that you're going through the stitches you're anchoring to, and also that end that you are weaving in. Never pulling real tight, because that'll cinch your work up. That's more of how you want your end piece to look. And then one more time, I'll weave it in and out. If you're worried about the bulk that this causes, like maybe you're like, man, well, it looks kind of ugly when you, when you concentrate it over just maybe a few stitches. One way that I found around this is, and it works best in flat pieces, but if you go over more stitches at a time, like instead of going over 4 or 5, maybe go through 8 stitches, leave a longer tail so you can go out a little bit longer and it'll be spread out amongst, a few stitches, instead of having it clumped all together and kind of be something that really catches your eye when you look at a piece. I'm wondering if I have any just around me that I could show you the difference that it makes. I don't think that I do. But here is the little tutorial that we did today on the crystal wave stitch. I think it's really pretty, really simple, stretchy. It's a little bit holey, so I like to always keep that in mind. Little fingers and toes getting stuck in there. I don't know, some parents are kind of weird about that, so always keep that in mind with whatever kind of stitch combos that you're using. If you're creating for little ones, having long dangly things or big holes that could, I don't know, somehow, you know, potentially cut off circulation. I don't know. Like I said, it's always good to just check over your work before sending it to wee ones. And I don't know, that's about it, you guys. Oh, I will show you, I'm sure you've probably seen on my page, but my newest design, I've been, you know, busy with beaded work. And this is my newest design. Still working on writing up that pattern, but it's a little cinch bag. Let's see if I can bring my camera up just a little bit. But this is beaded, and those are crocheted directly onto the bag as I went along. And I'm putting together a tutorial for this, you guys. I love how it turned out. I feel like it's so functional for a little one to put, you know, your sunglasses, cell phone, maybe some sunscreen, baby diaper. But it opens up here in the back, and then you can cinch it closed, and it becomes this cute little backpack. You can wear, carry. This one's pretty tiny, I would say perfect size for a little toddler, you know, between the ages of maybe 3 and 6-ish. Again, I started thinking about this bag when I was talking about like the holes in that last pattern. Is I was worried about, you know, the string. And so whoever ends up buying this, or if I gift this, I'm going to be sure to let them know, like, hey, listen, don't use this around little tiny babies, just because this cords like this scare me. Super cute, but we want to make sure that we're keeping the little people, the little babies in our lives safe too. So if you create for others with small ones, please just send out a word of caution to them. And that's about it, you guys. For everybody who commented today on this with their favorite fiber to work with, I can't wait to go back and read through some of your guys' comments that I may have missed. And once the video is posted, I will also share with you the winner of this little live giveaway that I'm doing. I'll have one of my kiddos pick it out. That's usually what I do, is let them pick, because, well, they don't know yet, and I don't want to seem like I'm picking favorites. So anyways, hope you all have a wonderful day, that you got a hook in your hand, and that you are creating something beautiful. Hopefully I'll be chatting with you guys real soon. Have a wonderful day and happy hooking. Bye, guys.